Tonight at 5, D.C. crime is still under a microscope. City leaders are dealing with the fallout of a House committee report alleging D.C. crime statistics were manipulated. Good evening, I'm Michelle Marsh.
And I'm Scott Thuman. That bombshell report out just days after Chief Pamela Smith announced that she's resigning on December 31st. And we've got team coverage tonight. Rebecca Turco is asking the council what they want in a new chief in light of this scandal. And I-Team investigator Scott Taylor learning more about who's on the short list. But we want to go first to Washington, D.C. reporter Felicia Ashley looking into what consequences could await for MPD leadership.
Right. Well, the committee chair wanted the chief to resign immediately, though she's already set to lead the department in just a few weeks. Now, legal experts that spoke to 7 News about this report said that if the committee wanted more than this resignation, if they wanted consequences, that they're just not there yet. A. Scott Bolden is a criminal defense attorney and a former prosecutor. He reviewed the 22-page report and tells me the accusation MPD leaders were pressured to lower crime classifications to make D.C. appear safer will be hard to prove beyond a reasonable doubt.
Police and prosecutors have a tendency to overcharge crimes, right? I could see the chief saying, we're not going to overcharge crimes, we're going to try to get it right. And if there was pressure on them, it was pressure to get it right versus to overcharge someone with a felony versus a misdemeanor. Attorney
Donald Temple also reviewed the subcommittee documents. His history with MPD involves having filed nearly 50 lawsuits against the department over alleged misconduct and workplace issues. But he agrees we're still a long way from anybody ending up in courts over this.
What it says is that the conversations and this happened and that happened, but nothing that is solid.
What happens next now with this report? Do you expect that additional steps will be taken to find that collaboration? Do you expect that any actions will be taken?
I would hope that when you make these accusations at this level and you have this report that I think is very premature, no one does a report based on what somebody says. You know what I mean? So I would hope that the Congress and the gentleman from Kentucky who is responsible for the report, that they look more deeply into it.
Both attorneys say there is nothing criminal here, and the Department of Justice echoed the same thing. Now, in relation to what we do have here, the attorneys say now this could open the door to others wanting to investigate further that could lead to more discoveries. For now, reporting live from the D.C. Bureau, Felicia Ashley, 7 News.
Felicia, thank you. Have you heard the name Morgan Kane? She is currently the Deputy Director of Protective Services with the Smithsonian.
And 7 News I-Team investigator Scott Taylor first reported earlier today that Kane is a leading candidate to be named as the next D.C. police chief. So, Scott, what do we know about Kane?
Well, she has only been working in the federal government for a short time because up until last year, she was with the D.C. Police Department, 26 years as a cop in the district. Kane worked her way up the ladder to become a commander at MPD and an assistant police chief. Multiple sources tell me Morgan Kane is on the short list to become the next chief of the Metropolitan Police Department in Washington, D.C. Kane is currently the Deputy Director of Protective Services with the Smithsonian. She oversees security, protection, and law enforcement operations for 21 of its museums, the National Zoo, and multiple research centers across the nation. Her responsibilities include hiring, training, and deployment of its officers. Kane is a familiar face inside MPD. She served as an assistant chief of police and commander of the 1st District. Here she is at an event speaking about community policing shortly after the pandemic.
We are here to renew the commitment to creating and fostering an environment in our communities that is not only safe and peaceful, but also inclusive and welcoming.
Kane joined the D.C. Police Department in 1998 and retired just last year. Mayor Bowser, who's leaving office next year, will have the opportunity to name the next police chief. D.C. Council will then have to approve the mayor's office. We're being told Morgan Kane is a name to watch. I got to tell you, the D.C. Police Union, not a big fan of Kane. They point to a lawsuit filed in 2021 by 10 police officers against the district. They claim in that lawsuit Kane misclassified violent crime stats when she was with MPD. That case is still open, and its next hearing status is in March of next year. Kane has not been proven to have done anything wrong. For the I-Team, Scott Taylor, 7 News.
So what happens next? How does the district go about finding a permanent replacement? Our Rebecca Turco is joining us now live from the Wilson building. Rebecca, how does all of this work?
Well, the mayor nominates someone, and then that nominee goes through the council for oversight. The Congress and the federal government is not needed for any sort of approval involved. It's only the council that votes on this, and those council members are going to be voting in the aftermath of those allegations surrounding Chief Smith.
My office, my staff, we're trying to ascertain the validity of these allegations.
On top of that, Chairman Phil Mendelson says he's hearing Dems on the House Oversight Committee may be coming up with a report of their own following the GOP drafted one from the weekend. We're working to confirm.
I'd like to see what they're saying, but I'm very concerned that there are now 2 reports that suggest that there was a more deliberate effort with regard to reclassifying crime data.
Councilmember Janice Lewis-George, who's also running for mayor, says she sees the allegations as another federal attack on D.C.'s autonomy.
We saw the chief lead during a time where a decrease occurred, and we stand behind Chief Smith's tenure, and we just respect and thank her for her service.
Whoever the mayor nominates for top cop will go through the Judiciary and Public Safety Committee first for oversight.
I think it's really important that we have someone who is really committed to building the department, to hiring more officers for our force, to making sure that there's a person committed to transparency and justice for every single district resident.
So when the time comes, if Councilmember Pinto's committee votes yes on the nominee, then it'll be up to the full council to vote on that nominee. It'll take a majority vote to ultimately have them be appointed. But for the interim chief, if one is appointed after Chief Smith and before the permanent one, I'm told the mayor can appoint that person on her own. There's no approval needed. Live from the Wilson building, Rebecca Turco, 7 News.
Okay, Rebecca, shakeups at the police department and on the D.C. Council as well now.
Jasmine Stiles shares the latest resignation announcement and what could come next.
Yeah, at-large Councilman Kenyon McDuffie says he is stepping down. Tonight's council meeting will be his last one, and his official resignation date is January 5th. Sources tell 7 News McDuffie is planning a run for mayor since Mayor Muriel Bowser is not running for re-election. His colleague Janice Lewis-George has already launched her campaign, and McDuffie did not spell out his next steps in this post on X, but said that the public will hear from him directly when he does. McDuffie has served on the D.C. Council for the last 13 years.